This is episode 2 of Body Image Confidential. And this episode, I'm going to be addressing a question that Nessa submitted. And she was asking, what do I do if no matter how hard I try, the bad thoughts don't go away? So, what if those critical thoughts about your body, about yourself, they just are always there? And that is such a common one. And that's the struggle, isn't it? like we want the bad thoughts to go away. And so when we're listening to those thoughts, so say the thought says, you know what your problem is? You just need to lose weight because, you don't look good bigger. So if you just lost weight, then these bad thoughts that are constantly telling you how ugly and bad you are going to go away. And so then that's what we do. So we go on a mission, we listen to those thoughts and say, okay, got it. Fat's the problem. I need to fix it. And if I fix it, then the bad thoughts are going to go away. And that can happen temporarily. So you'll get a moment where you lose weight and you start to feel better, but you have to then maintain it. And so there's always this stress and there's this, oh God, what if I gain it back? So the bad thoughts never really go away. They just change flavor or, change. And then if you gain weight, well, then the bad thoughts are back again. So what do you do? So here's what I'm going to say. I take a very different approach to this. I want you to firstly realize that you can't control what thoughts appear in your mind. No matter how hard, you can't. They just show up. It's like, think when you wake up first thing in the morning, can you control what thought pops into your head? You can't. So you cannot control what shows up. What we can do though, is we got to start to change our relationship to the thought and start to understand what are those thoughts really? Like, what do they mean? What we normally do is we take the thought for face value. We hear it in our head and then we just automatically believe it. And we think because it's here, it must be important and we must listen to it. But the key is what feeling is attached to that thought? Okay, it's obviously we say the bad thoughts. Well, what are bad thoughts? They're thoughts that have negative feelings attached to them. So we don't like to feel bad, obviously. So everything we're doing in our life is either in an effort to feel good or to not feel bad. So how about instead of this, instead of needing to get rid of the negative thoughts because we can't control when they show up, we start to see them for what they are. Their reactions, they're attached to a fear reaction that we're having. So anytime we feel fear, that is coming from our survival instinct. Okay, so our survival instinct, we feel it, right? Like your heart races, you might feel some tension in your stomach. It feels like I am not safe and I need to do something. I need to change myself. I need to be different. I need to look different in order to be safe. So if you can see that anytime you feel bad, this is a survival instinct and realize right here, right now, I'm safe. That the only thing that's going on is a thought in my head. Can you see how you're safe and it's not really that big of a deal? What if you were to just say, oh, okay, this is a thought related to the survival instinct. Just because you've thought it millions of times before, just because it's showing up, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean you're not safe now. It really doesn't. Look around. Like, where are you standing? Are the walls collapsing in on you? I don't think so. All that's happening is you're in a story in your mind that is appearing real. I don't know if you've ever put on virtual reality goggles. I did once. They're crazy. You put them on and you literally have a visceral reaction. I think this one was standing on top of like a mountain and I could feel my palms sweat as I got closer. It feels real, even though I had to remind myself I'm in my living room. I'm not actually on a mountain. It didn't matter. It felt like it was real. And that's exactly what happens when we have negative thoughts about ourselves. We automatically believe them. It's like we put on VR goggles and that now becomes our world. Well, what if you can see this is a thought? It's not reality. It's just why? So it's like, why do we give it importance? Can you touch a thought? Where's a thought? Where does it go? Like, how does it have any meaning except the survival instinct in us is telling us, no, this thought means something. No, it doesn't. It means what it actually means is at one point in my life, usually when I was young, something happened to me that felt scary. And without knowing it, I made a meaning about that, about myself. And so that, if we're doing, body image stuff, it's somebody made fun of me because I had too much fat in my body and that felt scary. So when we're young, we're wanting that approval and we're wanting to feel safe with others, right? It's a survival instinct to say, if I'm out of the tribe, I'm not safe. So the mind automatically, because when we're in survival, we are 100% focused on ourselves. We have no more awareness of, oh, that person said it because they believe something and that's not true. No, full attention goes to yourself. And so meaning is made about yourself. And so this belief gets implanted in yourself saying fat is bad and I'm not good enough because I'm fat and therefore that's scary. And so what happens is that belief stays there. And so anytime we get into a situation in our lives where we start to feel scared again, it's very common for that belief then to pop back up because it says, oh, alert, you're not safe. The problem is your body. You need to fix it and then you'll be safe. And this happens with a whole bunch of ideas and thoughts about ourselves. So what we need to do is realize that that survival instinct is active. And when it's active, it is not the time to be believing what our mind is telling us because it's not true. The mind's going to try to convince you it's true. It's going to try to show you all the evidence because your brain cares about your survival. That's all it wants to do is protect you. And it thinks you're in trouble, even when you're not. So we got to start seeing through that. So it's not that the thoughts don't have to be there. They can be there. In fact, you can have lots of fearful thoughts if you know that they're not true. If you know that they're not real, then what's the problem? There's no issue. So you don't need the negative thoughts to go away. What a relief, because you can't stop them from showing up anyways. So that's good. Take that off your plate. And instead, what we want to see is that the thoughts that are showing up when they're attached to fear are not actually in alignment with the truth of ourselves, because those thoughts were adopted. So we didn't come into this world thinking this about ourselves. We knew our wholeness, we knew our worth, we knew our value. And all we need to do is look at little children when they're born, because they're in their pure essence, and then realize that anything that feels like bad is actually out of alignment with what's true. It's just that fear is tricking us into thinking that it's real. So this is a paradigm shift. We have to start seeing these thoughts differently. And that's how it doesn't matter then if they show up anymore, because you know what's going on. So this is why I'm actually running just started running my Feel to Heal course. And this is exactly what we are diving into, is what do I do when this feeling comes up, this fearful feeling, which then of course is attached to all the negative thoughts. What do I do with it? Like how do I get rid of it? Right? We always, of course, want to get rid of it. But I teach in the course how to actually feel these emotions, to release them, to have the awareness of what's going on, so that, and actually what happens when you do that is then those negative thoughts don't show up as often. So the first thing is realizing you don't need to get rid of the thoughts in order to be okay when you see what's going on, when you really understand it. And when we can feel to release the survival emotion, then those subsequent thoughts will go too. Because thoughts, the quality of the thoughts, the type of thoughts you have are always a match to your emotional state and feeling. They're always a vibrational match. So you can't have positive thoughts when you're feeling bad. and you're not going to have negative thoughts when you're feeling good. So what we want to do is actually work with the emotional state. Okay. So to recap, you don't need the negative thoughts to go away in order to feel okay. You just need to understand what's happening. And for those of you who are catching this video now, just maybe jumping in, I'll post this video so you can rewatch the whole thing. It's, what do you do with bad negative thoughts? See what's happening. We want to feel the emotion to release it, realize we're safe. And then that is actually when those thoughts will show up less often, but we don't want to resist them, because when we resist them, we're actually keeping them there. So think about it. When you push against something, you're giving it energy. So we don't need to resist those negative thoughts. We need to understand what they truly are and start to change our relationship to them. Okay, so that's it for episode 2 today of Body Image Confidential. I hope, Nessa, you found it helpful. I hope anybody who's watching this finds it helpful. If you are on this path of wanting to feel more peaceful, confident in your body without feeling like you need to go on all the diets and the drugs and do the changes, then follow me if you're not following me, and you can message me, DM me with a question. Say, can you talk about this on Body Image Confidential? And I will. And another note, because I was mentioning the Feel to Heal course, there is still time that if you are interested in how can I work with and let go of these negative feelings that are coming up so I can feel more peace, you can still register. I'm going to be running my first live coaching call on Thursday. So module 1 is a recorded video. It's already up, so you can watch it. It's about 40 minutes. Get the material, and then you can join the call on Thursday or watch the replay. So if you are interested in the Feel to Heal and getting in on that this week, you can also just send me a DM and I can send you the link for it. All right. I will see you next week, where I'll be back for episode 3 of Body Image Confidential. See you then.